Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the Dawn Enterprise Zone Agreement public hearing to order Wednesday, February 21st. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Here.
Ms. Frenchco. Here. Mr. Malloy.
Here. Okay, we'll start out. Nick Coggins from the Planning Commission. Give us an overview.
Good morning, Nick Coggins, Trumbull County Planning Commission. Dawn Incorporated has submitted an enterprise zone agreement in order to remodel 2861 Safari Avenue where their current offices are located, remodeling 40,500 square feet of existing warehouse into office and gym facility for their employees. And they are also going to be remodeling 2961 Safari Avenue to renovate and retrofit with gas and electrical upgrades, new overhead doors to create that facility as their warehouse and put parking in between. We have looked at the local zoning, looked at the national wetland inventory and looked for floodplains. There are no issues and it is zoned correctly. We notified the schools that there was a request for a public hearing. The city of Warren has met, they have gone through their first reading. Due to opposition from school boards. They had a meeting last night with their Economic Development Caucus, and I believe their Economic Development Chair, Councilman White, is here. And they met with the school boards to hear what their concerns were, and they plan to review again next week at their Wednesday evening meeting the abatement for passage at that time, or not passage, or to take a vote is what I should say. They will take a vote next Wednesday on. So this one is a little bit unique as this was previously passed 10-0. And when it came to the commissioners, there was noted a clerical error in there. Due to that, we sent it back to city council where they could hear again. At this time, that former ordinance is still in place, but they have a first reading on repealing that ordinance and either leaving it repealed or replacing it with the corrected employment numbers based on the previous clerical error. At this time, is there any questions at this time, I guess, for the project? All right.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
can you use the microphone, Commissioner, please? There's people watching. Thank you.
So about the process, they still have 2 more readings, correct?
They have at least one more reading, potentially 2, yes.
Okay, because you said that they were going to vote on it.
It is my understanding based on the meeting last night that their intention is to take action, whether they move forward or just repeal next Wednesday at their council meeting. And I can let Councilman White speak more to that, but I believe their intention is to take action one way or the other at next Wednesday's meeting.
And it's for remodeling.
For renovation, yes.
Is the building already owned?
Yes.
Right. And to install a gym for their employees?
And office space, yes.
And how many jobs are being created total?
4.5, 4 full-time, 1 part-time.
Will those jobs be people who live in the city of Warren or?
As far as hiring practices, though, I would have to let the owner of the company speak to that. But I know being in the city of Warren, they'll still be paying city income tax for working within the city.
Yeah, some people, work remotely and then spend their money somewhere else, and it's nice if it's an abatement that they would be in the community, and just was curious about that. And the school boards.
The school boards received their 14 calendar day notification of last week's City Warren meeting and this public hearing. The school boards did show up last night at the Economic Committee meeting so that they can speak directly with council, their reason for opposition. I have not personally received anything from any of the 3 school boards affected by this.
All 3 boards were there?
I believe just Warren City School was there. LeBray and TCTC did not attend.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, wait. So, and they're asking for what percentage of a tax abatement?
75%.
75%.
Yes.
Wow. Do they, there's an ability to get a lower amount if it's not that impactful,
Yes.
but they didn't,
They
you didn't suggest that. I'm asking you personally.
in my position, the negotiating terms and authority is delegated from the 1994 resolution of the Trumbull County Commissioners to the locally affected community. When I received the application, I contacted the city of Warren. The city of Warren's representative spoke with them. If they were to lower or negotiate a different term, that would have been up to that representative of the city. That is not my decision to make.
So you didn't reach out to them. It was someone from Warren who reached out to offer the 75%.
I did not reach out to offer anything. I never reach out to a company to offer, but if they submit an application, we begin the process. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, this time we will take statements in opposition of the said enterprise zone agreement. Anybody want to speak in opposition to the enterprise zone? Sir, please approach the mic and name and who you represent.
Brian Whitick with the Western Reserve Building Trades. The Western Reserve Building Trades are in opposition of the Enterprise Zone Agreement, Dawn Incorporated. And I have a letter from Warren City Schools, the board president, with opposition. So I could share that with the
That's a
commissioners
letter from Patty Lamperos that I can't find, right?
if you would like to look at it.
Yeah, that's.
Can we make a copy of this, please? Is it all right with you? Make this,
And
the
also this
copy,
year
please.
Warren has a renewal levy for the schools, which it's sad that we're gonna give a corporation a tax abatement when we're asking the Warren taxpayers, school taxpayers to come up with money. So it's like
12.4 mil levy.
12.1, I believe,
I just got my
12.1 mil.
for it.
So that's all I got for public comment.
Okay, anybody else want to rise up in opposition to the agreement? Okay, this time we will take statements in favor of the said enterprise zone agreement. Would anyone like to speak in favor? Sir? And again, for the record, please, your name and who you represent for the record.
I'm Ronald A. White, Senior. I'm Seventh Ward Councilman, City of Warren, and also Chairman of the CD and Economic Development Committee. Let's see. Start off with the school board. As far as I'm concerned right now, is that they received the letter late. So when we had this year going to the first reading, they haven't even seen the letter yet. So when they finally got the letter, we already done voted on it and we voted to approve. But then the clerical numbers was wrong. So we're going to turn around there and resubmit. We're going to withdraw and then resubmit the legislation that was there, that was in wrong. Prior to that we had a meeting yesterday and everybody pretty much answered the questions that was asked as far as do we agree, disagree, what would be the downfalls, what would be the upswing. And again, even though you have four full-time jobs, one permanent part-time job, and then if I'm not mistaken too, there might be another job that is part-time, if I'm not mistaken, just 4+1, 4+1. Okay, and the idea is that as far as we've been looking at it and we got everything that was supposed to be taken care of. We're gonna ask for a vote on it next Wednesday. And the committee, from my synopsis of it, is they're gonna vote for yes to pass this here. So other than that, don't really have too much else to say, except it's gonna be good for the counties, good for the city. And again, even though they have this 12.1 levy coming up, that's just a renewal. It's not no more money's coming out of nobody's pocket. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
actually is more based on property tax increases, just.
But also, from my understanding too, you can still, as far as challenge your property taxes. So again, that's about it.
Anybody else want to rise up in favor of the agreement?
Hi, I'm Dawn Ockman with Dawn Incorporated. I just pretty much want to answer any questions because there's lots of misinformation out there, and I just want to correct everything.
What information that you believe is wrong is out there? You have the floor.
I have a question first. At the last hearing that we had, the figure was over $1 million in salaries.
Yes.
And that's where we found the mistake. And then I believe at that time it was said it was 4 employees. It was going to be $50,000 to $60,000 a year jobs. It was going to be around 200,000. And now I see on the new one that went to Warren, it's back up over 400,000. So what's the real math on this? What are the actual salaries going to
So
be
I
paid out
think-
to these?
I believe
4.5.
Nick explained himself that the first number was from a carryover template. So he just simply made a clerical error. Excuse me. After that, I honestly don't know where he got the second number, and he can attest to that. I believe what happened would he had our gross annual payroll and he divided it by the amount of people we had. It's truly not an accurate way to do it because not everybody works 2,000 hours a year. So we might have had to be specific, that year we had 2 hires in October. We had 1 hire in July. So you can't just take gross payroll and divide it by everybody working full time. So I think that's where that lower number came in. The actual number is 428,000. Which I have looked at, I verified, I gave to Nick for the 4 full-time and 1 part-time person.
Do any of the people who make $250,000 live in Warren?
Nobody said anybody makes $250,000.
Okay, you said.
428,000 for 4.5 people.
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the original amount, and the method in which you calculate it suggests that you have some higher paid employees, and I just wondered if they live in Warren, that's all.
Nobody in the company makes $250,000. The original number of over $1 million was a clerical error that came over from a template, which Nick has now explained twice.
Great, so I'm gonna ask this a different way. Do any of your highest paid employees, yourself included, live in Warren?
I live in Howland Township.
Okay,
We do have Warren City employees.
okay.
And again, nobody makes $250,000.
One other question that I had is the 75 and 10. We brought this up at the last hearing also. Is that negotiable in any way? Is there a
But
way?
it's 75 and 10
75%, 10-year
for 10
abatement?
years.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there
And
any-
again, I said this last time too. I applied for a program and that was the program in place.
Okay.
That was the
Nick,
program in place.
Did you do any research on that since the last
75%
meeting?
for 10 years.
So that's not.
When
the
you
program.
apply for when you do the agreement, that's what I understood the agreement was.
It could be 25%, it could be 10%. It could be
I was not
50%.
aware of that.
Let's let Mr. Coggins answer that because he was doing research on that.
Hang on, I'm talking.
So you said that you applied for a program and that's all that was available to you.
That's what I was made aware of, yes.
Speak with.
Actually it was somebody in my office with somebody from the county, so I'd have to check
From
that.
the county, the only person from the county would be Nick.
I'm not arguing who it was or wasn't. I would have to look into it.
Okay, so Nick gives, I'm interested in finding that out.
But the county doesn't negotiate these. It's up to the political subdivision in which, so you contacted the city of Warren for the negotiation. Because we don't get involved. In the
Somebody in
negotiation.
my office, so I'd have to go back
Okay,
and check.
yeah,
Well, she said it was someone from the county, and Nick is
But
going
she
to
said,
correct.
she
before.
just said now that it's,
It
she has to
wasn't
go back
me,
and check.
so I'd have to go back and check.
I
Yeah.
understand, it wasn't you, but you said it was someone from the county.
I
It might
thought
not
it
be.
was. It might have been the city.
Okay.
That would be more accurate since it wasn't me. I can't really say.
Yeah, as Nick mentioned, we don't negotiate those.
So who is it from the city that is the point person that?
I would think their CD director or economic development director.
Michael Keys is what he said for the record.
How many total employees are there?
Total currently 32 full-time, 1 part-time.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions for Dawn while she's up there?
Was there any other misinformation that you thought needed explained? Because while you're up here, I want to hear.
I don't believe here. I think there's been lots of chatter outside, people throwing out different numbers on what the schools would potentially lose or gain or things like that.
Well, this is your chance though, because it's at a public meeting.
Well,
so
we-
Whatever you wanted to clear up would be a good time to say.
We were given statements after the last meeting from Mr. Coggins as to what the math would turn out to be for Warren schools. Is that correct to your best of your knowledge? Is that chart that you emailed us, correct? I think it turned out to be about
That's right.
$6,000 a year the Warren City Schools would lose.
The total amount
Would be 50, so.
for 75% is 6,881.12, based on the appraisal estimate. The schools will lose or forego future taxes of 5,286.91.
Per year.
Okay.
Yes.
I was thinking.
That's the estimate based on the estimated appraisal value for the work to be completed at the site. That's 6,881 would be the entire abatement amount across every tax district. So the county, the school, the JVS, joint vocational school, the city, and there's a special district. I don't know if it's a park district or actually, you know what? I take it back. I'm pretty sure that's the library. So across all of those would be a total of 6,881 per year.
But the lion's share would be Warren City School.
Yes. With most taxing districts, actually, I'm pretty sure almost all taxing districts, the school district has the share of all property tax. In every taxing district.
What are the existing abatements there?
The existing abatement is on the construction of the office. It's a 75% for 10 years. That will expire in 2027. And that was to build their existing facility that they're now looking to remodel for their expansion.
How many current enterprise zones abatements do we have with a facility or an industry or company that has 2 abatements concurrently?
Facilities, you know what I mean? Not the job.
Currently, I think there's only one left, but we've had, Anderson DuBose has had 2 concurrently. Ohio Star Forge has had 2 concurrently. J.A. McMahon has had 2 concurrently. Flex Stratton Howland has had 2 concurrently. CR Electric and Liberty has 2 concurrently right now, so there's 2, I'm sorry.
Okay.
2. It's not an uncommon practice to build and then 5, 6, 7 years later expand and have 2 concurrent, so long as we keep those additions separate on the tax bill or on the tax card, so that the abatement is only applied to the improvement.
So of course it's permissible, but the other question I have, those ones that you just rattled off, did they include expansion of more than 4 jobs? You know?
Some did, I believe Flex Struts was 8, I think Ohio Star Forge off the top of my head. I don't know what it was, but it was also under 10. It's not necessarily an absolute huge expansion and doubling numbers.
And are they all 75%? Because I know some of them are, some of them are lower. And I honestly believe that whoever is out there doing the economic development should not be offering the top tier if it's not top impact on our community.
So, the one in Howland Township is 60% for 10 years, which would fall under the same category as this. In townships, after they exceed 60%, they need to go to school board to get additional approvals. Within cities, so Lordstown is a village, Anderson DuBois were both 75%, which is the maximum they can request without going to school board for additional approval. A lot of these, some of them are negotiated lower. For instance, Trans Global that expanded in Warren Township they requested 60%. They received 40% based on Warren Township's negotiation.
Because of the school board, yeah.
No,
Oh.
the school board.
Oh,
was
the
not involved with
township
that. The Warren
negotiated.
Township requested a lower.
Yeah, I've seen some of them that are lower. That's why I
Yes.
just,
So depending on whether they're the township or the city, they've also been negotiated higher. The village of Lordstown, the Lordstown administration negotiated
they-
100% for 15 years on two other, actually multiple other, but two actively are the two energy plants, but they've done that on multiple other, where they make an arrangement with the school district to get a payment in lieu of taxes or a pilot.
Yeah.
And then potentially share income tax if that payroll exceeds $1 million.
yeah, those are situations where it would be more so warranted because of the volume of job creation, you know,
The energy center's only created 19 jobs.
and the work, the work
Yeah,
that they put out, so
construction work
the
they
construction
create.
is unbelievable, yeah. Okay.
So it's not for this board to decide a percentage or year. That's something that if we were in favor of something lower, we would have to hope that Warren City would do it, not us. When it gets to our point, we can't change or amend anything. It's already, it has to be done by the city level.
If we wanted to change that in the future, if we wanted to change that in the future, we could definitely give the board the authority to negotiate these things, or the county. But
That's what I
since
wanted to do.
1994, it hasn't been that way.
Okay, but as of now, we don't do that.
We don't do
as a
that. No,
board.
we leave it to the
So we
representative
vote yes or
community.
no on what's in front of us.
Correct.
And then they can
Period.
go back and change it or whatever. Just like we did last time.
The
Here's
way
what
I
I'm saying.
understood or interpret the resolution from 1994, it gives all negotiating powers and duties to the locally affected community. And that's the way we've operated. If a company does request an enterprise zone, they fill out an application for a community reinvestment area in Liberty or Warren, they fill out an application. When we receive that application, we contact the local community who then negotiates with the company. Sometimes the community will take the request, sometimes they will negotiate a lower rate, and that varies from community to community. But based on that resolution, we do not insert ourselves to tell them whether they should go up or down. If they request guidance or information or opinion, we will provide that, but we don't insert ourselves.
I know one of the council members is adamant about reaching out to build a gym, you know, from the Board of Commissioners. So I see a private company building a gym for their employees, and I'm kind of mind blown that they're considering that would take away from their school, but yet they want a gym built, you know, with ARPA
It's
money.
a gym. It is 10 offices. It's a training facility. And it's a new conference area. It's not just a gym.
I understand.
We're gonna put in a couple treadmills, a couple rowing stations.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
health is important. It's going to be, I think 12 by 14 of the 4,500 square foot.
Okay.
And if we do not move forward with this, that's when the schools lose money. If we do move forward with this, everybody gains money. Because we won't create the jobs, we won't pay the sales tax on the construction of the up to $1.3 million that we plan to renovate. We won't increase the jobs and potentially we'll move out. That's when everybody will lose.
Okay, so if you don't get what you want, you might leave.
No, she didn't say it that way. Don't turn it that way,
That's
please.
exactly what it
No,
sounded
she
like.
didn't. She's stating some facts. We're asking her questions. She's stating facts, but that's a badgering answer there.
No, I mean, that's a reflective, that sounded what the response was, that the school would be losing money.
They have
Well,
that
none of
right
the sa- none
as
of
a
the sales
business.
Tax that goes back to the school, so,
No, the sales
No, it
tax
goes back
goes
to
to
the
the
county.
county.
yeah, right, but you said that the school would be losing based on that, okay.
I think what she stated is if they don't do the expansion, there is no increased property value there that would create a tax base for the school to even have an
Correct.
abatement from. It would be zero
Correct.
or perpetuity, not just 10 years. Correct? Is that what?
Correct. The company has been in existence for 30 years and we're not leaving after 10. I mean, with the abatement will fall off. Second generation sitting right there.
The construction amount doesn't equal value.
Construction amount does not equal value, meaning as in property value. Absolutely. But the $1.3 million, which is our maximum intended cost for construction, we pay sales tax on, which comes back to the county at the rate of 6.75%. And the value of the renovation that we are proposing to do doubles the property value.
Do you have an appraisal that shows that?
Yes, Nick does.
When we get an enterprise zone
Nick,
application.
does she have the microphone over there for you?
When we receive an enterprise zone application, we work with the Trumbull County Auditor's Office, Chief Appraiser, and their appraisal consultant to use the information provided by the company. How many square foot? Is it going to be office? Is it going to be warehouse? What type of material is your exterior going to be? Things like that. We produce it to the chief appraiser and the consultants. They provide us an estimate with a disclaimer that estimates are strictly estimates. They cannot be known until the facility is actually built. That being said, based on the conversion of 4,500 square foot of warehouse space, which is taxed at a lesser value than office and conference room space, that appraisal came back, I believe, at $350,000 is what the improvements would increase the property value. According to the auditor's property card, that property is currently valued at $334,000. It may be 334,900 or some change. But yes, that appraisal is an estimated appraisal done based on information, investment numbers and information provided by the company.
Appraisal.
No, that is an estimated appraisal. An appraisal cannot be done. That's the disclaimer that the auditor's office will provide us.
Okay, so let me just explain. What the appraisal office is giving you is not an appraisal. The business can actually do an as improved appraisal based on what they're proposing to do. And the chief appraiser officer that you're talking about in the county is an appraiser in training. So I just wondered if an actual appraiser existed that someone paid for from a commercial appraiser, like Dracomi around the corner or something like that. Because what you're describing is not an appraisal.
No, it's an estimated.
It's maybe an estimated value from our auditor's office, but it is nothing like an appraisal. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anyone have any more questions for Dawn?
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, thank you. Okay, so I guess we will wait for Warren City to make their decision and then get the facts back to us on their decision and see what the school board negotiation meeting resulted, if they retract what they have or if they stand by the letter they submitted, and also the letter from TCTC, if they still stand by that. And if Warren Township, or I'm sorry, LeBray Schools decides to reply in one way or another. As of this point, they have not.
You said you heard that someone rescinded their letter?
I did hear that, but I don't have the facts in front of me, so that was TCTC. I don't I got a phone call or a correspondence somewhere that showed that Mr. Gray was retracting his previous support of it, but I don't have that in writing here, but I will look for
Is
it.
that as a result of the chamber talking to him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I'll make a motion to take said enterprise zone under advisement.
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes. Thank you all for coming.